Chapter 20, 1 against 3. The sight of blue phase force rising from Li Luo's body sent shockwaves through the arena. The impact of this revelation was even greater than Lu Tai's defeat. Everyone stared blankly at the scene, their hearts heaving with tidal waves, leaving them trembling with disbelief. How does he suddenly have a water phase? Tefacking murmured in astonishment. Her gaze fixed on the tall, handsome youth standing in the arena, iron staff in hand. For a moment, she felt a sense of déjà vu, memories of years ago when Li Luo had first entered Southwind Academy. Back then, he had instantly become the unrivaled shining star of the academy, so dazzling that his name almost rivaled even Zhang Qingyi, the legendary prodigy. Only later, when his phase was revealed to be blank, had his glory fallen off a cliff, eventually relegating him to the second institute. But now, the boy before her, wreathed in shimmering blue phase force, once again seemed to be regaining that same brilliance from years past. Song Yunfan's expression was the ugliest of all. His eyes drilled into Li Luo as if he could pierce through his flesh and bones, trying to uncover every secret within. If there was anyone in the academy who least wished to see this scene, it was him. Because he had once witnessed how dazzling Li Luo had been. And precisely because of that, he couldn't stand to see him rise again. He turned his head toward Lu Qingyi. At that moment, her bright eyes were shimmering faintly, fixed on the boy in the arena. The sight made his fists tighten in his sleeves, his gaze sinking into darkness. While Tefacking and Song Yunfan wrestled with their conflicted emotions, Lu Qingyi herself remained calmest. Her water-like eyes lingered on Li Luo. As expected. Southwind Academy will be far more interesting from now on. Li Luo, can you walk the path back again? What's going on? How does Li Luo suddenly have a water phase on the high platform? Instructor Lin Feng finally couldn't help blurting out his disbelief. Su Shanyu was equally stunned, but upon hearing Lin Feng's words, he snapped irritably, "What nonsense are you spouting? Just because Li Luo was once blank, does that mean he must remain blank forever?" Lin Feng froze, frowning. "That's not what I mean. But we all know a blank phase is innate. For it to change after the fact, how could that be possible?" Su Shanyu snorted. "If we think it impossible, that only proves our vision is too shallow." Lin Feng wanted to argue further, but the old dean finally spoke. "An acquired phase is rare, but not impossible. Some legendary heavenly treasures are said to grant such miraculous effects. It's likely that Li Luo's parents left him such a treasure, allowing him to gain this water phase. Let us not speculate now. Wait until the match is over, then we can simply ask Li Luo directly. We are an academy, our duty is to teach students. As for his personal matters, we have no right to interfere." Hearing even the dean say so, Lin Feng could only fall silent, though his eyes continued flickering as they locked onto Li Luo, thoughts swirling. Amidst the sea of shocked gazes, a gloomy-faced Bei Kun strode into the arena, long spear in hand. "Li Luo, I didn't expect you to be hiding this deep," Bei Kun sneered coldly. "You want to use today's 3 matches to prove yourself, don't you? But I won't let you succeed." Li Luo chuckled. "That's the dumbest line I've ever heard. Are you acting in a play?" Bei Kun's face flushed with embarrassment before twisting into anger. "We'll see how long you can keep laughing." With a stomp forward, phase force surged from his body, accompanied by faint echoes of a tiger's roar. A vague sense of violent pressure radiated from him. This was Bei Kun's rending mountain violent tiger phase, a 6th grade phase, renowned for its savagery and brute strength. With sufficient phase force, it was said to have the power to split mountains. Li Luo narrowed his eyes slightly at the oppressive aura. Bei Kun's phase force was indeed stronger than Liu Yang's or Lu Tai's. With the amplification of a 6th grade phase, his strength was at the very peak of the 6th seal. On paper, Li Luo's 5th seal phase force and 5th grade water light phase were clearly at a disadvantage. But battles weren't always decided by numbers on paper. Boom! Bei Kun exploded into motion, his long spear like a ferocious tiger descending the mountain. Wrapped in surging might, it came crashing down toward Li Luo. Blue phase force rippled across Li Luo's iron staff, surging like flowing waves, as he met the strike head-on. Clang! The clash rang out like thunder, force waves exploding. Li Luo's body was jolted backward, but his steps flowed like a fish in water, dissipating the violent force with deft footwork. Humph! Only 5th seal phase force. From that first exchange, Bei Kun instantly identified Li Luo's level. His heart eased, and he sneered, "So much for your dramatic comeback. Turns out you're nothing special." With a cold laugh, he pressed the attack, spear shadows like a storm of fangs aiming for Li Luo's vital points, fierce and unrelenting. But Li Luo didn't retreat. Calm-eyed, he advanced instead. Bang! 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 Spears and staff clashed again and again, metal ringing like a storm as the two became locked in a fierce duel. Yet as time dragged on, Bei Kun's expression darkened. Because he realized Li Luo's staff strikes were steadily growing heavier, more forceful, as though waves were crashing, one after another. On the First Institute's viewing platform, several strong students noticed it too. Li Luo's actually holding his ground against Bei Kun's bursts, strange. He's clearly only at the 5th seal. Wait, his power's increasing. How's that possible? It's a high-tier phase art, 9-fold azure wave. This technique is perfectly suited to the water phase. It stacks force like tidal waves, each strike stronger than the last. The longer the battle drags on, the more overwhelming it becomes. Unless you crush it with absolute strength, it's nearly unstoppable. If Bei Kun doesn't break through soon, he'll lose. The talented students of the First Institute all wore grave expressions now. 9-fold azure wave was a high-tier phase art so advanced that even in the First Institute, only a handful had mastered it. And yet Li Luo wielded it with practiced ease. No wonder he's always been called Southwind Academy's #1 in phase technique comprehension. One side. Back when he had no phase, we didn't fully understand it. But now that he has both phase and force, the threat he poses is terrifying. Roar! Bei Kun suddenly bellowed, rage boiling. He too realized the situation was turning against him. Though Li Luo's phase force seemed weaker, it tangled around him like a whirlpool, steadily wearing him down. And more disturbingly, Li Luo's phase force carried a strange purity, sharper and stronger than expected. He knew he couldn't drag this out. Eyes flashing with savagery, he gripped his spear tight. Tiger claw-shaped shadows flared faintly around his hands as violent power burst forth. High-tier phase art Fang Piercer. With a step forward, his spear lunged like a feral tiger's fangs, tearing through the layers of surging water force, aimed straight at Li Luo. Li Luo's gaze sharpened. Blue light surged on his staff, the accumulated layers of 9-fold azure wave exploding forth like a crashing tsunami. But instead of meeting the strike head-on, his staff and Bei Kun's spear slid past each other, each aiming straight for the opponent. You're courting death. Bei Kun's face twisted, eyes flashing viciously. His spear thrust unerringly for Li Luo's shoulder. But at the last instant, his eyes flinched as the blue glow on Li Luo's staff suddenly flared, dazzling his vision for a split second. And in that fraction of a second his spear slipped just off course, missing Li Luo's shoulder by inches. Not good. Panic struck Bei Kun's heart. He couldn't understand how he'd made such an error. He'd been certain his strike would land. But it was too late. Wham! Li Luo's iron staff, empowered by crashing wave force, slammed square into Bei Kun's face. Blood and teeth sprayed into the air as a scream tore out of Bei Kun's throat. His body flew backwards, crashing heavily outside the arena. His wails echoed across the stunned grounds. Li Luo slowly lowered his staff, exhaling a long white breath. The blue aura of phase force faded gradually from his body. The arena fell deathly silent, save for Bei Kun's continued groans. But that silence lasted only a heartbeat before erupting into shrill cheers and thunderous roars. Every institute except the first screamed in ecstasy. Because today, they had just witnessed history. They had seen Southwind Academy's once fallen prodigy erupt in dazzling brilliance once more. They had seen the so-called blank phase youth, fighting as a member of the Second Institute, defeat 3 students of the First Institute in succession. Zhao Kuo's face flushed crimson with excitement. He leapt up, waving at the First Institute and shouting wildly, "Did you see that? That man is back." End of chapter.